His Holiness Dalai Lama. The day His Holiness the Dalai Lama crossed the Tibet India border in the closing hours of March 1959, I was in Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru's office in South Block with the IFS probationers of the 1958 batch. After 1957, the Prime Minister did not meet new entrants to the IFS individually but received the entire batch. I was taking down notes. The Prime Minister asked me, क्या लिख रहे हो? What are you writing? Before I could answer, Foreign Secretary S. Dutt walked in and whispered in the Prime Minister's right ear. Almost immediately, the Prime Minister got up, saying that he had to be in Parliament as something of great significance had cropped up. Later, we learnt that the Dalai Lama had sought asylum in India. Nehru immediately responded positively. This was in keeping with our age old tradition of offering hospitality. The reaction in China was ferociously vituperative. The reactionaries in India have always harbored expansionist ambitions towards Tibet and have carried out various forms of sabotage activities. The Dalai Lama was dubbed a rebel. The People's Daily of Beijing wrote, "We give a solemn warning to imperialists and Indian expansionists. You must stop at once, otherwise, you will be crushed to pieces under iron fists of 650 million Chinese people. Hardly the language of a friendly country committed to the principles of the Panchashil Treaty signed between India and China in 1954. Although the government had firmly told His Holiness to refrain from making controversial pronouncements, he did make statements which could have been avoided. His taking the Tibet question to the UN in September 1959 was ill advised. He did so contrary to the advice of the Indian government. His Holiness has now been in India for more than 70 years. Some time back, he announced his decision to give up his secular duties and concentrate on his spiritual activities. The announcement caused consternation among his devotees and followers. China reacted in a churlish and peevish manner. I have been following events in China for more than 5 decades. To me, it is incomprehensible how a great country, which was Buddhist till 1949, can be so afraid of and obsessed with a man who is respected, revered, and venerated by millions of people all over the globe. He preaches compassion, forgiveness, goodness, magnanimity, and life enhancing precepts of Buddhism. His personality is so engaging that he casts a spell on anyone who meets him. Inner light radiates from him. On arrival in India, the Dalai Lama spent a few days in Tejpur, then proceeded to Mussoorie, where Nehru had prolonged talks with him. He came down to Delhi in September and was put up at Hyderabad House. I was attached as temporary liaison officer to His Holiness. He met very many people, including the upcoming poet Dom Morias. The Dalai Lama was in a playful mood. Dom Morias referred to nature helping him during his escape from Lhasa, that is, blinding storms, thunder, lightning, etc. His Holiness replied that nothing unusual happened. Such weather was usual in Tibet that time of the year. This somewhat deflated Dom Morias. The Dalai Lama called on several cabinet ministers. All treated him with respect in spite of his age, only 24 years. His meeting with Home Minister Govind Vallabh Pant I remember vividly. We were ushered into a small room which, if I remember, was used as a reception room for receiving the distinguished and eminent. The Dalai Lama sat opposite Pandit Pant, his interpreter next to him. Raja Pant, that is Govind Vallabh Pant's son, was also present. I occupied a chair behind His Holiness. Top secret matters were being discussed with complete candor. Halfway through the meeting, Pantji looked at me and asked, "Who are you?" I was taken aback. Relief came when the Home Minister next pointed to a man sitting behind me who nervously said he was from the Press Trust of India. The Dalai Lama was startled. After all, he and the Home Minister were dealing with diplomatic dynamite. I had no doubt in my mind that Pantji would ask the more than errant Press Trust of India eavesdropper to leave the room. This he did not. Instead, he requested the Dalai Lama to continue. I thought the minister's decision strange. After the close of the meeting, Pantji asked the man to stay behind. He then proceeded to read out the Riot Act to him. If a single word of what was discussed became known, the consequences for him would be most unpleasant. Nothing was ever published. What mystified me at first was Pantji letting the man stay. I later understood. Had the Press Trust of India man been sent out, he would have reached for the nearest phone and filed a story that would have caused serious complications. To this day, I have not forgotten Pantji's serenity, sagacity, and masterly handling of a tricky situation. He was among the greatest of our home ministers. Thank you very much.